Hey there guys, welcome back to Let's Play Secret of Mana. In the last episode I left you here. In this episode we're gonna see what this earthquake's about.
Something's coming!
Of course it's a boss. Alright, now before I fight this boss, I'm gonna do what I forgot to do last episode, and that is equip my new armor. I don't want to fight this guy without wearing all my new stuff, because that would be absolutely killer. I mean, it's doable, but it's not something I'd want to do. And she's good there, she just has to equip the Power of Embrace. So, yeah, I guess we're fully ready to fight Tropicallo. So this boss is, I don't know, kind of unique, special. He appears here, he spits pumpkins at you, and these little vines here come and try to hit you and poison you. If you run around just right and get near a pumpkin before it is able to touch you, you can actually get it to blow up without causing you damage. It's like that in the Super Nintendo too, but in my experience, much harder to manage. Oh good, and if you do enough damage to the vines there, you can kill them. And it gives you a little bit of experience in gold too. I never thought about infinitely farming this boss for that, but I guess maybe it's possible. I think this boss is a lot easier than the Super Nintendo version, although he's easy in both of them. Simply because he's easier to hit. He doesn't seem to avoid stuff. I mean, wow, I took no damage fighting him, not even the computer. But the pumpkin bombs follow you faster. The vines, well, I think the vines are actually a little slower and less smooth than the other version, but way to go. Sweet. But yeah, this fight, at least in the Super Nintendo version, might actually give you an excuse to use your charged weapons, since there's long periods where you can't just hit him back to back.
Thank you very much.
I could have handled those guys myself, you know.
Hush! Sorry about that. The shock from getting washed away affected this child's memories. They can't remember anything. They're a good child. Just with a few attitude problems. And a loud mouth.
Yeah, well, it'll all work out eventually. Why rush it?
Tropicallo was sealed away in the palace. Since it got out, that must mean there's a way in. If you harness the power of the mana seed, you might even get your memories back, little one.
What? Why didn't you say so earlier? I'll go there right now.
You can't go alone. The palace was buried long ago. Who knows how many monsters are infesting that place now? You managed to defeat Tropicallo. Would you be so kind as to accompany this sprite to the palace?
Sweet! New character? Yeah, it's probably obvious.
You managed to defeat Tropicallo.
It's probably obvious that we were going to get a new character with me buying the extra armor in the last episode, but you know what? I don't want a new character. We're good with just two.
You can't mean that. Please help them.
No, I do mean that. He tried to cheat me out of my money.
You can't mean that. Please help them.
But you must. Yes, we'll take him. Or her, or
What
it.
luck! Did you hear that? Now, be sure to listen to everything he says, and don't give him any dirt.
So, the sprite, they don't say whether he or she is male or female. I think in the Super Nintendo version in the US he was considered male. I think in the German he might have been female. In Japanese, I think they were completely ambiguous, as they will maintain in this version of the game. I will constantly call him a him, because he always seemed to be like a him to me as a kid, so that's just how I'm gonna refer to him as. It just makes it easier for me, and yeah.
Okie dokie. Just don't get in my way, okay? Bro.
Bro? I have a name.
I'll tell you what. How about you give me a name? That'd be easier all around.
His name? Popoy.
Yeah, sure. I guess that works. Nice to meet you.
Nope. Didn't mean to skip the extra text there, but awesome. We got Popoy. Well, sweet. New character. and low health, goodness gracious.
Good luck. You can go straight to the palace using that hole over there.
Oh, cool.
But be careful. That witch from the north, Elinee, sealed the palace off with a cave of magma.
Let's just get buckets of water then. It worked earlier.
First, you have to go to Elinee's castle to ask her to dissolve her seal. You know, she wasn't always like this. Elinee used to be a good witch. Go north to her castle in Haunted Forest and ask her to open the seal.
So we're going there anyway. Alright.
Here is the set of bow and arrows we found when the little one washed up. Take them.
Sweet. New weapon.
That reminds me. Watts the blacksmith was looking for you. You should stop by his workshop.
Sounds good. Sounds like the axe is ready. And the Chobin's bow won't make you as overpowered as the Chobin hoods themselves. Alright, the Sprite, boy. Let's equip his stuff. Give him his little gear there. He comes equipped with a minor robe, but it's kind of weak, so I say equip the spiky suit to him that you got earlier if you bought it with me. And equip the power of Ambraces. So the Sprite, he's level 1, so he's as weak, if not weaker, I'd say weaker, than Prim was when we first got her. And since I forgot to earlier, I'm actually going to, well, sell all the extra stuff I have. Welcome.
Welcome. What'll it be?
Alright. Oh, and you know what? I was gonna buy some extra things too, but since he's probably gonna charge us for the axe and we have that new
Anything
orb,
else? Come again.
we're gonna go and upgrade the spear as well. Well, that is if we have the money for it. Alright, man, running like this is so nice. Alright, Watts, what's up?
Well, I tried making that axe, but it didn't turn out how I thought it would. I wonder why.
I don't know.
What's happened to that boomerang? Wait,
Boomerang?
try holding this axe.
We have a boomerang too? I guess I didn't look at that, but yeah, Sprite comes with a boomerang as well as the bow, so we've got a wide variety of weapons to learn skills with now.
Aha! I can reforge these weapons, but the mana power won't activate unless you hold them.
And you means literally anyone in the party, not just the boy who, well, I guess became this hero for grabbing the sword.
This axe is mighty special. It may be compact, but you could smash a boulder with it.
Oh, perfect.
Wanna buy it? Take it with you for 100 GP.
You mean you'd halt the fate of the world by keeping us from being able to get the axe if we didn't have enough money for it? I could have worded that a lot better, but yeah, you need to buy the axe. And yes, it's completely necessary to advance the story, but the axe is a really good weapon.
There are more mana weapons out there. Bring them here, and I can reforge them using any orbs you find. Let me show you my special shortcut so you can come here directly.
Ooh, a shortcut? Alright, so in the Super Nintendo game, you moved in the exact same way, all awkwardly like that. You might notice at different times in the game where the characters kind of move up, and then as a group move this way, and then that way, and so on. And it's actually trying to follow the Super Nintendo way of doing things, so I kind of like that.
I've been waiting. Which weapon is ready for reforging?
This one, right here. Yes, make it better. Oh, so I pressed the button there because in the Super Nintendo game, after you reforge it, you press the button again and it would reload everything and show what the new weapon is. But here it just, I guess, instantly does it. So now the spear is the heavy spear. And Watts' axe. Okay. So, let's see, the boy needs to level up the sword, girl with that, and the Sprite can use whatever he wants. I'll leave him on the boomerang. Alright, so I'm definitely going to go over here and save the game, then I'll leave through that exit there. So, you notice that we have to go through the haunted forest, the dreaded haunted forest.
One night is 15 GP. Stay the night.
You know what? I'll show you guys this too.
Wow, that Watts is the best blacksmith I've ever seen. He's made my rusty sword shine like it's brand new. With a sword like this at my side, everyone can tell that I'm a knight who means business. I know! I'll try it out with a few practice swings.
It figures.
What's your problem?
So immature. A rust-free sword doesn't make you a knight. You'll never be a warrior like Diealus without training.
That's why I'm practicing.
That wasn't practice. That was posing. You just wanted to look cool holding that sword.
No, I didn't.
The truth hurts.
Fine. No more sword practice today or any day. Happy now?
Oops. I didn't realize I touched a nerve.
You did not.
Like I said, you're so immature.
Yeah, you can see they're all just young kids, or at least these two pretty much are, forced on an adventure to save the world. Kind of makes me wonder if any of us were put in that situation. I mean, you can't even imagine that. Save the game? Sure, I'll save the game. Alright. I mean, honestly, it'd be kind of terrifying. All this pressure on you to save the world, people literally trying to take your life as you're going about, well, your business. It's a lot of weight to put on a kid's shoulders. Wow. Tough themes in video games, right? Oh, hello, Nico.
Meow. What a strange place to bump into each other. Do you need anything? Special deal for busy travelers. I'll even save the game from you.
Oh, convenient. What do you have for sale? Well, even though the shop is literally downstairs and around the corner, he's still gonna charge you double for everything, so again, not worth it. I should have bought another cup of wishes while I was down there, but hopefully I won't need it. I'll keep the sprite alive, level him up,
Anything else? Be seeing you.
and it'll all be well and good. Oh, and the sprite gets stuck up there. Alright, so we're going to make our way to the Haunted Forest, killing absolutely everything on the way. And 35 damage, I can almost one-shot a Lullabud. So, yeah, we want to kill everything, level up the Sprite, because just because he has newfangled fancy armor doesn't mean he's going to be super good at everything. And you may have noticed that the Sprite was getting caught on something as he was walking around. Yeah, that's a big problem as we're going around up here in the Super Nintendo game. But it's something you learn to deal with. You just kind of naturally walk around things wide-like and swing around so they don't get stuck on things in that game. So, it's just one of the... I don't know, one of the things with the Super Nintendo. Alright, they got him. Oh, medical... Oh, see, I shouldn't have bought it. I could have saved 10 whole gold. Alright, that's not a big deal. Alright, it's so nice plowing through these guys with all this high damage. Can't wait till I can kill them in one hit. It's gonna feel really good. Come on, boy, level up one more. Yeah, I don't think there's any way to just flat out increase your damage, like through a use item or something in this game. There are some things later that might affect your damage output, but it's, at least in my experience, not really significant. Oh, excuse me. Alright. So at this point in the game, since you've seen how hard the Choppin' Hoods are, you might actually want to grind a little bit on the creatures around Gaia's navel just to level up the sprite, so he's not in such a pickle. Oh, nice, he leveled up again. Just because you might end up using a lot of healing items on him just to keep him alive. But if you want added challenge, just go right through. But now we have the proper armor for dealing with these guys, and we're dealing so much more damage. Oh. And you see, swing the weapon when he's shooting at you, and you'll eliminate a lot of the problem. No chest, good. And warp them up here to take advantage of the distance. Oh good, they died off screen. Oh, see? They're machine gunning him. But it's so good that you can just hit them quickly and make it so they can't really fight back. Ooh, swords level 2. I guess I can show that off. And you see, they're stuck, just like in the other game. But you know what? I don't know. Call it part of its flavor.
Take that.
Sweet. One shot. Alright guys, come on over. Wait, what? There you go. That is a godsend, being able to just warp them to your position. I mean, I can't stress that enough. That is so awesome. You don't have to switch to the characters to move them around or anything like that, because that was a thing, especially in, well, tight areas like this in the Super Nintendo. Alright, so we could go over there and cut through, but I didn't show you guys what was over here. Oh, and I should switch the weapon for the boy since we have new things to work with. Why not the axe? Actually, you know what? Because of what I know is coming up, why not the bow? This guy! Just because it's hard to hit him. In the Super Nintendo game, you need to use the bow or the boomerang, but I think you can actually just use the spear and things to hit him. If you're on plane with him right there. And now you don't have to worry about being hit by these guys pretty much at all. Your armor is too high. Yeah, so this place isn't nearly as threatening once you get the armor from the Dwarf village. But once you have what do you call it? Once you have it, you're safe. And also, I believe, as soon as you would have went up there, if you didn't have the girl, and I think I will make a video on this at some point, if you were to come into this whole area and you didn't have her, you would be forced into a fight with two creatures we're going to come into contact with a little later. And it would be tough fighting with both the boy and the sprite. In the Super Nintendo game, probably one of the hardest fights in the game up to this point. Probably the hardest fight up to this point in the game. Oh, and we didn't get to show off that enemy too well, but we'll see him more. Essentially, that enemy there, he could spawn Choppin' Hoods infinitely, so you could use him as an infinite spawn to farm him. So that's nice. Wow, we're leveling up like crazy. And now I can probably one-shot Lullibuds. Oh, I got punched as soon as I leveled up. So one thing that I've noted, I may not have noted, no I certainly didn't note yet, about the boomerang and the bow in this version of the game, is in the Super Nintendo game, I guess because of the way the weapons and things would arc, it seems to me to be a little easier to hit with them in those games than it is in this, but I seem to be doing well now, but you have to be pretty precise and lined up to hit with these items, whereas in that game they give you a bit of leeway. But it's not a big deal. It's just something to note, a difference between the games. Alright. Awesome. I'm going to switch back to the bow since I have experience using that. Alright, nope, I'm going to have to switch to the sword temporarily. Oh, and the axe, it can cut down that too, so you can use the axe. The axe has as much damage as the spear on average. Not the spear upgraded, but the spear when it was level 1. So I have kind of a hierarchy for the weapons that I like to use. Oh, he was about to spin on his head. I'm sorry I didn't get to show you that. But anyway, the hierarchy of weapons, I like to use the spear the most, simply because it has the most range, highest damage, and, well, it's just all around super effective. And then I like to use the sword because, well, hey, it's the mana sword. Who wouldn't want to use the sword? It's the main weapon of the game. It's like not wanting to use the Master Sword in just about any Zelda game. And then I like to use the axe because it matches damage with the spear, even if it is a little slower. And from there, I don't really have too much of a preference. I'm sure you'll develop your own preferences as you play the game yourselves, or if you have played the game already. Well, that was a flat miss. Yeah, you probably already have them. Alright, so you can take a shortcut, cut around there, but Sprite needs the experience, so I'm going to fight these guys up here. Taken down. Awesome. There's no way to cut through this stuff, so if a chest drops in there, tough luck. Oh, thank goodness. As soon as I would have mentioned that, that would have been bad. Super Nintendo game, you have to cut those down to get through. This one, not so much. And I don't have to cut it down, I just warp them, it's so nice. Ooh, that's a different sound. Run to the left or the right immediately. In the Super Nintendo game, that guy would run down and start beating you up. These guys are so difficult in the Super Nintendo game. Oh, there goes the spam callers again. Alright, sorry about that. But yeah, those werewolves, Cup of Wishes, sweet. They run down, they have high evasiveness, take low damage, beat you up, chain attack you when you're on the ground. Oh my goodness, it is tough to fight them. Hold on, I thought an enemy was supposed to spawn over there. I want him to spawn. Yeah, so the best way to deal with them in the Super Nintendo game is run off to the side and start swinging at them with the boy, with the sword, spear, axe, something. And try to chain him when he's down. Because if you don't do enough damage... oh well. If you don't do enough damage when he's down, he'll actually be in his damage pose standing. And if he's in his standing damage pose, he's actually, like, permanently evasive. And you can't actually hit him, so you have to knock him on his butt. Not so in this one, he can always take damage, so they made him a lot easier to deal with. These guys are the enemies that the girl, you'd fight with the girl. Choppin' Hood, would you stop picking? Uh-oh, that's why we have a lot of Choppin' Hoods to deal with. Let's see, is he a Weeping Eye? Oh, I forgot to tell you about that too. Oh, there's so much in this moment. I Spy. Oh, yeah, there it is. He can turn you into a Moogle. And Moogles, you swing, or you can't swing, you can't defend yourself, and yeah, it's a mess. So, best to try to kill them before they can turn you into Moogles. And if they do turn you into a Moogle, run away, get those characters away, and take them down. So an I Spy was supposed to spawn down there as well. That's why I was confused, at least in the Super Nintendo game. I don't remember if it's different here. Alright. We'll let that charge here. Oh, I'm so obsessed with fighting the Choppin' Hoods that I didn't want to get hit by him. See, the Sprite's getting low on health because of all this nonsense. Never mind, he leveled up. Sweet. See how much defense and evasiveness I have now? I can just sit there and take them. Don't have to worry about it. Alright, we made it pretty far in this episode, all the way to Elinee's castle. So in the next episode of Secret of Mana, we will traverse Elinee's castle and, well, hopefully save Diealus and the soldiers if they're not still fighting her right now. See you later, guys. Have a good one, and God bless. Bye-bye.